You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Awasthi. A lot of stories have made headlines today. Let's take you through the top 6 stories of the day. Rajnath Singh, who is on board INS Vikrant, has sent a stern message to Pakistan. He says any future act of terror will now be dealt with an answer from the Navy this time. Meanwhile, Amit Shah was in Poonch in Jammu and Kashmir today, where he visited the Gurudwara that was hit by the Pakistan. We will get you all details on where did he go and who did he meet. In Odisha, meanwhile, the anti-corruption raid has gone completely wild. This after the man accused of corruption was seen throwing cash out of his balcony. In other news, in the national capital, there has been an incident of a road rage. It was so fatal that 2 people were killed, 3 were injured, and this as a teen rammed his car into the hut after knocking down the cyclist. There are extremely gut-wrenching visuals on that. And now, moving on, we will also tell you about the politics that has erupted over Operation Sindoor once again, and this time again by the Congress party, where it is Revant Reddy who has questioned the Modi government over how many Rafale jets did the Pakistan shoot down. And yes, finally, controversy's favorite child, Kamal Haasan, has remained defiant and has refused to apologize after he triggered a row when he said that Kannada was born out of Tamil Nadu. So these are the 6 stories that we have lined up for you. Starting up with the top story. Ladies and gentlemen, we start this edition with the top story that is the most telling picture of the day. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh today boarded the Indian Navy's indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, where he addressed the officers and crew, praising their dedication and strength. Now, it was during the interaction with the naval personnel on board the INS Vikrant of Goa, he said and issued a very stern warning to Pakistan, saying that India will not hesitate to use the methods to deal with terrorism that Pakistan cannot even think of. Now, remember, Rajnath Singh's visit comes at a time when India continues to assert its role as a key maritime power amid growing strategic interest in the Indian Ocean. Let's first take a look on why Rajnath's visit to INS Vikrant is of prime significance. And here's the power of INS Vikrant. Now, remember, this carrier is responsible as it carried forward deployment to the North Arabian Sea, and this is during the time of Operation Sindoor. INS Vikrant comprised of 8 to 10 warships that were ready, remember, and had locked the Karachi port already. Now, on board INS Vikrant, destroyers and sea-guided missile frigates were also present. So it was all set. The Navy was all set to respond to Pakistan. Now, powerful battle unit, when its carrier battle group, that was also present. Meanwhile, forward deployment stopped from Pakistan leaving Karachi port. Remember, when we talked about Operation Sindoor during Republic's coverage of Operation Sindoor, we broke that news to you about how Indian Navy had locked the Karachi port. It was already all set. However, this mighty carrier, INS Vikrant, stopped Pakistan from proceeding even an inch forward. Here is what Rajnath had to say on board INS Vikrant.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान भारतीय नौसेना ने अपनी साइलेंट सर्विस से हर भारतवासी को प्रभावित किया है। खामोश रहकर भी भारतीय सेना ने पाकिस्तानी सेना को बांध कर रखने में कामयाबी हासिल की है। जरा सोचिए, जो खामोश रहकर भी किसी देश की फौज को बोतल में बंद कर सकता है, वह जब बोलेगा तो उसका नज़ारा क्या होगा, इसकी आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं। इस बार तो पाकिस्तान को भारतीय नौसेना की फायर पावर का सामना नहीं करना पड़ा, मगर दुनिया जानती है अगर पाकिस्तान ने इस बार कोई नापाक हरकत की तो हो सकता है कि इस बार की ओपनिंग और किसी के द्वारा ना हो, हमारी नेवी के द्वारा होगी।
Moving on, in a powerful visit to a place of faith that faced fire, Union Home Minister Amit Shah today reached Poonch, Singh Sahab Gurudwara that was shelled by Pakistan on the 8th of May. Now, from offering prayers to meeting the victims, Amit Shah's message was firm and was amply clear. India stands with its people and will not tolerate attacks on civilians or sacred sites.
It was targeted, shelled and scarred. On May 8th, Pakistan launched a cowardly and indiscriminate attack, shelling civilian areas, religious sites and homes. This Gurdwara was among the structures hit. The sanctum was shaken.
This is the place, and how much this the shelling was, how intensified this shelling was. Sabar ji, ये
यहीं पड़ा हाँ यहीं पड़ा था। हम वहाँ रहते नीचे रहते हैं, हमारा घर नीचे है। हाँ बस यहाँ पर पड़ा गोला आकर यहाँ पड़ा पूरे अपने जस्ट हो गई थी पूरे इलाके में।
And today, that very Gurdwara, once marked by destruction, welcomed the Union Home Minister with renewed hope. Amit Shah visited the site, bowed his head and saluted the spirit of people who refuse to be broken. He also visited areas worst hit by the Pakistani shelling in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch, meeting victims, hearing their stories and standing in solidarity. From shattered walls to strength, this Gurdwara now tells the story of a community that stood firm. The Union Home Minister called out Pakistan's targeted attacks on religious institutions and also spoke about how Poonch has bore the brunt of Pak shelling.
पूंछ में शायद आजादी के बाद पहली बार गोली मारी, मगर पूंछ के साथ साथ सभी जगह पे रिहायशी इलाकों पर, गुरुद्वारों पर, मंदिरों पर, मदरसों पर गोलीबारी करने का काम पाकिस्तान ने किया।
However, the Union Home Minister also added that the Indian Armed Forces gave a befitting response to Pakistan.
और जब पाकिस्तान ने हमारे रिहायशी इलाकों पर, नागरिकों पर, निहत्थे नागरिकों पर हमला किया, तब भारतीय सेना ने इसका भी सटीक जवाब दिया और उनके 9 हवाई अड्डों को, उनकी मारक क्षमता को क्षतिग्रस्त कर एक मजबूत जवाब दिया, जिसके कारण उनको समझौते के लिए आगे आना पड़ा।
Reaffirming India's position, he said Pakistan was warned that India will not tolerate attack on civilians or religious structures.
कि भारत के नागरिकों पर, भारत के निर्दोष व्यक्तियों पर, भारत की सेना पर और भारत की सीमा पर किसी भी प्रकार का अतिक्रमण भारत सहन नहीं करेगा। किसी भी प्रकार का आक्रमण भारत सहन नहीं करेगा। इसका सटीक और इससे भी बुलंद जवाब दिया जाएगा।
During his visit, the Union Home Minister also distributed appointment letters to the kin of the deceased. He also interacted with the BSF personnel at the unit headquarters in Kanatar, while also praising their role in Operation Sindoor. Shah visited religious sites damaged in the shelling and reviewed the security situation ahead of the Amarnath Yatra. But the message from Shah is clear. If Pakistan resorts to aggression by targeting religious sites, then India will go all out and unleash its full military might.
Moving on to the other story that we're tracking, and this one is from the state of Odisha. It what looked like the most dramatic anti-corruption raid. The Odisha Vigilance officials seized unaccounted cash. Now, this was worth over rupees 2.1 crore. Now, this was done during searches at multiple locations that was linked to a chief engineer rural works department that is in Bhubaneswar. Yes, he was a government employee. So the question really now that is being raised is how did he manage to collect such an exorbitant amount? The raids were carried out following allegations of possession of disproportionate assets. Now, during the operation, Sarangi, the chief engineer that we're talking about here, attempted to dispose of the cash by throwing bundles of 500 notes out of the window. And this was from his flat in Bhubaneswar. On seeing the vigilance officers, the chief engineer threw cash bundles of rupees 500 notes through the window of his flat. The same was recovered in the presence of witnesses by the search team of the vigilance. So these visuals remain completely dramatic, because what we're talking about here is that the case of a government employee who has unaccounted 2.1 crore cash. And not just that, the most dramatic visual of the day was when he was throwing the bundle of 500 notes out of his window to escape the vigilance department. On that note, I'm being joined by our reporter Chandan, who is reporting live from Bhubaneswar. Chandan, bataiye hame, tell us about how did this cash come from? Where was this unaccounted cash discovered exactly? And what are the probe details so far in the case?
Today, Odisha Vigilance conducted a raid against the chief engineer, Baikuntha Nath Sarangi, and Vigilance official retrieved 37 lakhs from the neighboring group. Further success at his flat and another property in Angul district, and led to the total cash recovery till the time 2.51 crores from the Sarangi's house, Angul and Bhubaneswar. In this case, also, Vigilance Director said that 1.3 crore from his property at Angul and 1.2 crore from the house of Sarangi's house from Bhubaneswar flat. Also, 37 lakhs cash that which show his neighbor's roof. Also found that invested in 2.7 crores in share market also. Also 1.5 crore in bank deposits also found in Vigilance team. Also, search is continuing. The interesting chapter was that the 37 lakhs was thrown by Panigrahi to neighboring group, and Vigilance, whereas the Vigilance team fully monitored that amount and recovered from neighboring group, and also seized that money, and also the search was continuing. The DA cases was almost all approximately is just a two-story building and 2 numbers of flat, and also 7 numbers of high-value plot was found. So that the DA cases against the chief engineer Baikuntha Nath Sarangi was continuing. The further report will be submitted by Vigilance. Will be more wealth and more money will be found by Vigilance. The Vigilance Director Jaswant Jetha also informed that.
Right, Chandan, thank you very much for sharing those details. We will keep coming back to you as and when there are more updates on that story. For now, we move on to the other stories that we're tracking. Now, hours after a speeding car crashed into a slum in West Delhi's area, a group of Juggi dwellers gathered in the area to recall the horror that they had seen and witnessed and that had unfolded. Now, Poonch Singh, a grindstone maker and a seller, was one of the 2 people who was killed when a 19-year-old boy allegedly rammed his car into 2 cyclists, and this was around 3:30 a.m. And then he crashed into the vehicle into his hut on the roadside. The police said that the teen had been apprehended. Now, the incident was reported, remember, at 3:30 a.m. from West Delhi area. Now, upon receiving the PCR call, police rushed to the spot and took the injured to the hospital. The boy who was responsible behind the wheel, who was driving and who was responsible for the accident, has already been taken into police custody. Joining me live on that story is my colleague Akhil from the National Capital. Akhil, what more details do we have about this teenager who had allegedly rammed his car into the hut? Was he under the influence of alcohol?
DCP of the West region, Vichitravir, has confirmed this, that the person was in an inebriated condition at that point in time when that incident took place. And if you see, at around 2:45 a.m. early morning, what we have seen that this person was driving his vehicle at a very high speed, and he rammed his vehicle, the Swift car which he was driving. There were 4 other persons who were sitting, 3 at the back, and 1 other person was sitting at the co-passenger seat. So at that point in time, he was in an inebriated condition when that incident took place. He rammed his car into the bicycle, where a person who was basically riding his bicycle from that location, and that person basically moved approximately 20 to 30 meters of distance, and then it basically got the vehicle got stuck into a hut, a jhuggi over there, in which 3 other people were sleeping at that point in time. So in this very incident, what we have seen that 2 persons have died and 3 others are critically injured, and 3 others have been hospitalized to a local hospital, a government hospital. And what we have been seeing that under the Motor Vehicle Act, an FIR has already been lodged in under different sections, and the person has been apprehended, who has been identified as Harsh. Back to you.
Right, Akhil, one more question before I let you go. You were talking about the sections that this teenager will be booked under. What are the probe details that we're getting so far? What is the action that is being mulled upon on this teenager? Because like you said, he was under the influence of alcohol already when he rammed his car into the bicycle and the hut.
Well, absolutely. If you see, his blood sample has already been taken and it has been sent for the forensic test. And apart from that, what we have seen that we went to the police station in Janakpuri, where his vehicle, that car, has been seized by the Delhi police team, and the probe is on. I was speaking to the DCP of that region. Vichitravir has confirmed this, that the legal proceedings are underway, and in this matter they are investigating that how basically he basically lost the control at that point in time, and what actual speed he was driving the car. So at this point in time, it's not confirmed that what was the actual speed of the car, because for that we'll have to wait the investigation report to come out.
Right, Akhil, thank you very much for getting us those details. We are tracking that story very closely, but for now we move on to the other stories that we're tracking on this edition. Now, Telangana Chief Minister Revant Reddy has drawn a major political backlash. Now, this was after he demanded that Prime Minister Narendra Modi must explain to 140 crore Indians how many Rafale jets were shot down by the Pakistani army, a completely bizarre logic. Now, addressing the Jai Hind rally, the Telangana Chief Minister Revant Reddy sought to know why Prime Minister Modi, who had called for an all-party meeting before going to war with Pakistan, did not do so before calling off the armed conflict with the neighboring country. Now, listen in to this bizarre claim of the Telangana Chief Minister.
సికింద్రాబాద్ కంటోన్మెంట్ అంటే ఈ దేశ భద్రతకు గుండెకాయ. ఈ రోజు ఇక్కడ ఉన్న సైనికులే ఈ యుద్ధంలో పాల్గొని ఈ తెలంగాణలో ముఖ్యంగా ఇక్కడ తయారు చేసిన యుద్ధ విమానాలే ఈ రోజు యుద్ధంలో దేశం యొక్క గౌరవాన్ని నిలబెట్టినాయి. మోడీ గారు తెచ్చిన రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు మన పాకిస్తాన్ కూల్చింది. ఎన్ని కూల్చిందో రాఫెల్ గురించి చెప్పమంటే ఈ రోజు చర్చ లేదు. ఈ రోజు మన దేశం కాదని ఇతర దేశాల నుంచి రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలను కొనుగోలు చేసిన మోడీ గారు, మీరు జవాబు చెప్పండి, మన పాకిస్తాన్తో జరిగిన యుద్ధంలో ఎన్ని రాఫెల్ యుద్ధ విమానాలు పాకిస్తాన్ నేలగూల్చిందో మీరు లెక్క చెప్పండి.
Now, the Bharatiya Janata Party lashed out at Revant Reddy and the Congress for questioning the Indian Armed Forces. Taking a dig at the Telangana Chief Minister, the BJP advised him to stick to world photo ops instead of speaking on national security. Listen in.
मुझे तो दुख होता है कि राहुल गांधी, रेवंत रेड्डी और रमेश जी सभी पूछ रहे हैं बताओ कितने जहाज गिर गए हिंदुस्तान के. ये डे वन से पूछ रहे हैं बताओ कितने जहाज गिर गए हिंदुस्तान के. ये कोई सवाल है? आपको समझ नहीं है? भारतवर्ष ने, भारत की सेना ने 9 आतंकवादी अड्डों को ध्वस्त किया. सैटेलाइट इमेज दिखाया गया. बकायदा डीजीएमओ ने जब प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस किया तो तथ्य रखे गए, इमेजेस दिखाए गए. देन एंड नाउ, पहले कैसे था ये मरकज, अब क्या हुआ है, ये सारी तस्वीरें दिखाई गई.
Revant Reddy has attacked the Sena Shakti. He says how many planes have been down, despite the fact that Operation Sindoor is going on, despite the fact that Shahbaz Sharif has accepted that what kind of damage was done to Pakistan by the Indian forces, despite the fact that all the claims of the Pakistani DG ISPR, their Air Force, have been debunked by Prime Minister doing life size fact check at Bikaner, at Adampur base, at other places in Gujarat. Despite all of that, Congress continues to echo the Pakistan narrative.
And moving on to the last story that we're tracking in this edition of 6 Stories at 6, amid row over Kamal Haasan's Kannada is born out of Tamil Nadu remark, actor Kamal Haasan has said that he will apologize only and only if he feels that he is wrong. Now, Kamal Haasan's statement come as pro-Kannada groups threatened to boycott his film Thug Life and demanded an apology from him over his remark on Kannada language. Now, just to take you back to what the controversy was all about, now during a promotional event for his upcoming movie Thug Life in Chennai last week, the actor reportedly said, "Kannada is born out of Tamil." Now, the statement triggered public outrage. The Karnataka Film Chamber of Commerce already announced a ban on the release of Kamal Haasan's starrer Thug Life over the actor's controversial remark. Today, Kamal Haasan has refused to apologize. Let's listen into that statement.
And I believe in law and justice, and I believe always love will triumph. And my love for Karnataka is true. My love for Andhra is true. My love for Kerala is true. So nobody will suspect it except those with an agenda. Been threatened before. And if I am wrong, I will apologize. If I'm not, I won't. It's my lifestyle. Please don't tamper with it.
You've heard what he had to say, but now listen in to what was the remark, what was the statement by the actor that actually triggered the huge political language debate.
அந்த ஊரில் இருக்கும் என் குடும்பம், அதனால தான் அவர் இங்கே வந்திருக்காரு. அதனால தான் நான் பேச்சை ஆரம்பிக்கும் பொழுது நான் உயிரே உறவே தமிழே என்று ஆரம்பித்தேன். அதில் தமிழிலிருந்து பிறந்தது தான் உங்கள் பாஷையும். அதனால் நீங்களும் அதில் உட்படுவீர்கள்.
And yes, that's all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back tomorrow, same time. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking.